So PURC engaged Ghana Water today um, to identify areas we can work together to improve water supply in the central region, and to also reintroduce our team. We have a very competent regional team to Ghana Water so that they will engage them more effectively. And finally, to listen to some of the challenges Ghana Water is facing and to identify areas PURC can help Ghana Water to deal with some of these challenges so that Cape Coast will get quality and reliable supply of water. Ghana Water is facing a number of challenges, and I think one of the main drivers of this, what you are describing, is the Galamsey. Now, Galamsey has three main effects on water. One of them is that it reduces the water available, how much they will get. The second is that it increases the cost of treating that water to serve consumers. And the third is that it increases even the time it takes to process the water. So a number of water bodies which Ghana Water was using to serve Cape Coast and its environs are being polluted because of Galamsey. So they need to do more, go extra to deal with that. What we have advised as PURC is to, one, let some of these challenges known to the communities, known to everybody, to work with the media, to work with community leaders, chiefs and others, to come out with localized strategies. We know that at the national level, there are task force and other things, but what can we do at the local level to preserve our water bodies so we get quality water? So that's the first one. The second is that in some areas, because of this challenge, they don't get water at all. So Ghana Water has already started investing in some polytanks, Brewa and other areas. So we also have encouraged them to work with our team to ensure that areas, especially those that are elevated in high areas where they are not getting water, they invest in polytanks for them to also get some reliable supply of water. So these are some of the suggestions we provided, and going to work with them to ensure that people get one, quality water and reliable service too. In terms of billing, the little I can say and maybe pass it on to the managers, the PURC manager and Ghana Water manager, is that we have a very friendly interface with consumers. So we use WhatsApp groups, we use online system that if you're having challenges, you should bring it to our notice. And PURC has processes to deal with that. So when you come to Cape Coast, regional team have been able to correct some of these anomalies, and we continue to educate consumers to contact us. I think there are customers who have meters, and when you use water, you get some, you know how much you are using and all that, you get a bill at the end of the day. But there are those who do not have any meters. So some of them get estimates. Now, because the estimates may be manual and based on maybe conventional wisdom and other things, they may not know that within the month, these 3 days, you did not get water. So maybe the same estimate may come. So you as a customer also has that responsibility to let us know that, yes, over the whole month, this period, I didn't get water, but this is what is happening. Going forward, our recommendation is that almost everybody should be metered, so you know how much you are consuming and pay the right price.
Even as we speak, our men are out on the field in Swedru, chasing after some of these kinds of illegalities. Once in a while, we unearth some, and we take them through the process. Essentially, ours is to rope them in so that we can bill them for any usage of water in the past and then moving on to in the future. For those who are not cooperative when they are caught, we involve the police, and sometimes we end up in court. In terms of figures, not much, because you don't often get to arrest many of such. But generally, when we chance upon them, or when we are fortunate for somebody to hint us, we go after them and then we do the needful. challenges. Essentially, because Cape Coast especially and its environs are an old situation, our pipelines are metal and old, and we often get them encrusted, meaning that the inside of the pipes get grooves that reduce the inside diameter. So eventually, if you see a 4-inch line, for instance, you see that there's growth over the period, there's growth of other debris that will reduce the size. And as such, then you need to pump extra hard to be able to satisfy the end user. Aside that, by the nature of the road network and other things, sometimes when you even want to do repair work, you need to go through a lot of challenges to be able to access the pipes before you can work on. So those are the few challenges that we face in water delivery. Fortunately, because we do sampling at certain points in our distribution system, fortunately, they do not. What happens is that even at the production works, when they are introducing the chemicals, they put in extra to take care of the what they will encounter, what the water will encounter as it moves through the pipelines. Occasionally, yes, we see that some have gone outside the range that is expected. When it comes to our notice, we quickly move in. We do what we call washouts, where we wash out the water already in the system, and we introduce more chemicals to disinfect the system. Also, as a long-term measure, some of these pipelines would eventually have to be changed for a more modern way of supply. So we are working gradually with it, but it entails a lot of cost, and that is what hinders us from doing many at a time.
So have you started?
Oh no, we do. It's an ongoing situation. If you take the sports stadium, for instance, recently we needed to remove whatever was there for about 1 kilometer and put in HDPE pipes, which is the modern pipelines that of a bigger diameter. So now if you visit Cape Coast Stadium, for instance, you can be assured of regular water supply. Otherwise, whenever they have a higher population or an activity that is prolonged in the stadium, you will see that they will be falling short of water. It is now a thing of the past. And all of these things take a lot of negotiation with the Ghana highways, urban roads, and so on and so forth. So it's not a straightforward kind of thing, but it's a very gradual and slow process, which we eventually intend to eliminate those challenges. Again, the executive secretary explained the basis for some of these things. Yes, like I'm saying, we still introduce sufficient chemicals at the production stage so that as the water runs through the pipelines, it is also disinfected. However, because there's a trade-off, see, when the raw water source is so bad, you cannot put in too much chemicals beyond the needs of a human being. So we have to also be measured in not introducing too much that will tend to be a disadvantage when it is used for human consumption. And let me quickly add that the color alone of the water doesn't imply that it is not wholesome. The color alone doesn't imply. Sometimes the color may look brown, but it is still wholesome because we keep on applying World Health Organization standards and Ghana Standard Board standards. And we continue to sample the water at certain spots to ensure that it doesn't go beyond the ranges that is expected of us. Now, what happens is that with the infiltration of Galamsey, even the quality of the raw source of water turns bad. Then volumes also reduce. Then it gets to our intake. Now we have to struggle. So, for instance, in a very bad situation, you may not get sufficient quantities of water to even extract before you start the production process. So for some of our production centers, there's no water to produce. Then for areas that we can produce the water, the extraction becomes difficult. For some, we even have to do desilting at the edges of the intake to create more room for the volumes to build up. Now, after entering our production process, it means you now need to introduce more chemicals, which you also have to do cautiously because you cannot overtreat. And then, so now that also affects the cost of production. Then, it means regularly we have to do what is called backwashing, because it clogs the dirt, clogs our machines in a shorter period instead of allowing the production process to be longer. So we have to break production and clean our filters before we restart production. So all these things, breaking and starting and other things, all affect eventually whatever the output is at the end of the day. When you should have done, say, 24 hours of continuous pumping, because of breaks and then restarting, you may have to do 12 hours or less. So eventually, in terms of labor, our staff on the plant, the effort, electricity cost, chemical cost, all combined together increases the cost of the production at particular production centers, depending on how bad the raw water source. For us in Central Region, Sechre Hemman is the most affected. But for us, Kwenyako and other Brimso, Gomoa, it's not that bad. But the danger is that so long as people who are tampering with the nature and ecology are not stopped, it emboldens them. So where we feel we are safe and we are getting good water may eventually be affected because water bodies, they merge somewhere. So as things get spoiled in one end, it may eventually trickle down to the other ends as well. No, it, like we were saying, even in Kwenyako, we've detected that somewhere in the eastern region, some illegal mining has started. And as we speak, reports from our water quality is showing that when they test the raw water samples at certain times of the day, they see peaks in how bad the quality is before they start treatment. And if it continues, it will now not be a peak, but it will be a thing of regular feature, which we need to guard against. It just came to our notice, and we've instructed our staff at that local end to report to the police and to report to the municipal assembly as a start of the grievance procedure. And we intend to go further if we don't see any improvement in activities from the source. I would say it is more rampant now than it used to be in the past. We'll be very glad if we see all of ourselves as stakeholders in ensuring that a day will not come that Ghana will import water. We are praying that the government and all other, even the ordinary citizen, when they see some of these activities, should promptly report so that together we fight against this menace, which may, in the long run, affect the whole country.